Well, everybody, if you're watching this on May 28th, 2020, then that means that Wipe Day is finally here. I should be live on Twitch right now, so after you watch this video, be sure to stop by and say hello. Fingers crossed there won't be too many server issues considering how many people are going to be wanting to play. It's crazy to think that for the vast majority of people who've ever played Tarkov, that this will be their first wipe experience yet. So if you're one of those people, I think you're really gonna dig it, so good luck. After a wipe, Tarkov becomes more wild and unpredictable than before, especially because everybody is using a wide variety of different weapons and equipment. So if this is the first time that you've ever been through a wipe cycle, it's going to be a lot different than the first time that you actually played the game, because even when drops were enabled in December of last year, there's already plenty of people that were level 40 and running meta gear and supplying the economy with pretty much everything in the entire game. A significant portion of the community has yet to experience a game where modifications, ammo, and powerful weapons can be hard to come by in the first few weeks. Money and barter items also hold immense value at the beginning of the game, especially with the hideout, and it's going to be interesting to see who decides to farm and sell hideout items and who chooses to use them at the start and work their way up to their Bitcoin farms. One of the things I really enjoy about Tarkov the most is that feeling of progression after you complete each raid. You're always moving towards a goal, whether it be cap a container, level 40, more money, and hideout upgrades. And I also feel like this same feeling contributes to the reason why so many people slowly lose interest over time. The cool thing about a wipe is you have that feeling that every raid matters. Every item that you loot, grenade that you throw, player that you kill has a measurable impact on the quest that you're trying to complete, the hideout upgrades you're going after, the experience that you're gaining, the money that you're making, and the raids that follow directly after. And by the end of the game, I really don't care if I lose the best gear in the game because it's kind of too easy to acquire. And if you pop into my streams, you'll notice that I frequently am sniping with bolt action rifles, using pistols, building strange budget builds, or just experimenting with non-best in slot gear just for fun. And at that point, I'm basically looking to challenge myself and build mini challenges to resemble the beginning of the wipe. This is also one of the reasons why I even created the rule set for hardcore Tarkov. For a lot of players that have been playing Tarkov for the last couple of years, creating new accounts and challenges has become a normal thing to do to keep interest while we wait to experience the rush and excitement of those first 5 to 6 weeks of post-wipe Tarkov. The rules that I wrote for hardcore were initially not supposed to have an end goal or a challenge set to them. This was only popularized after more streamers started taking up the challenge for their own communities. The entire idea was supposed to create mini goals and challenges that can make Tarkov feel more like a post-wipe environment, or also give you an objective to work towards in every single raid to make each one's count. In Season 5, I really wanted to get away from this whole idea of like racing or an endpoint, but I sadly caved to the demands of others, and I set the goal of trying to get a Bitcoin farm just to kind of give people something to work towards and then move on to something else. But I really feel in Season 6, from a streaming perspective, returning to the original idea where it's meant to just create daily objectives to work towards on the account and continue to play the account indefinitely will most likely be the direction that I move towards. And everything that I'm talking about here with like hardcore Tarkov and post-raid Tarkov and just feeling like you have value and progression is also one of the reasons why I'm excited for the flea market changes that are coming, moving in a find and raid status direction. It means that your equipment that you're going to be selling and the equipment that you buy is from players who survive their raids or craft it in their hideout instead of just running to a specific location, putting it in their secured container, dying, rinse and repeat. You know that the equipment that you're buying is from people that actually survived or crafted their equipment, and I think that kind of feels cool. You're still going to have ways of farming money, especially some of the older ways of selling directly to the dealers by farming treasure loot or farming weapon modifications or even just killing raiders. But still, it's going to really change the flea market economy and also the availability of ammunition as well, because if you go out there and kill a PMC and they happen to have a bunch of M61 that they bought or brought into the raid that doesn't have their find and raid status, you're not going to be able to sell that to other players in the flea market. You put that in your ammo box and maybe use it down the road for something else, or you sell it directly for the dealer for some instant money and move on. So there's definitely going to be some armor piercing availability issues for certain players, and it's definitely going to be a rude awakening to people who only use the best of the best. I'm sure it's going to be available, but to move in that direction consistently and always is going to cost you a lot more money than it did before. At the end of the day, the developers are obviously going to be monitoring this change closely because, in my opinion, managing economy and gear value is one of the most important things that the devs can do to not only keep players in the game longer, but to make the raids themselves more exciting and increase the overall intensity of the game. As for other changes like Steam audio, any new pieces of equipment that are going to be added, it's kind of hard for me to guess what kind of implications they're going to have on the game without actually testing them first. So I won't really comment on that until I get my hands on the game tomorrow or today when you're watching this video. And if you're watching this video on May 28th, I'm probably live right now, so you can check that out in the description box below. But to end the video, I'll just briefly talk about what I'm going to be working towards with this wipe, or what I usually work towards in every single wipe. First, it's getting my hands on that sweet Kappa container, the 12 slot container, and you get that by completing a significant majority of the quests in the game. Some of the newer ones that have been added are not required as it stands, but that might be changing in the future. So the overwhelming amount of core quests have to be completed in order to get Kappa. So that's going to be my first objective. And for a lot of players, their first goal is to reach level 40, but that's just going to be an inevitable outcome while completing the Kappa container quests. Yeah, I'll get there eventually. It's not going to be something that I really strive for. I'm not going to go out of my way to play factory or labs or do things non-quest related, because after I get Kappa, I'm going to be completing all of the other quests that are not required for Kappa. And that's going to take a little bit of time, especially if I have to go out there and kill Killa 100 times in a row. And then obviously, after I do all my quests and all my missions, if there's hideout upgrades that are not completed, I will then go for those last, because there are certain quests that require like euros and shit that I could also use in the hideout, but because I want to go for my questing first, I'm going to put the resources there. In fact, I was actually thinking about selling a lot of hideout items at the very beginning of the wipe on the flea market, just to supplement the quest items that I need to collect and the gear that I want to use, instead of just using them, because they're going to be worth a lot of money, especially with these flea market changes. So something to think about, especially whenever you are running out of resources if you're dying a lot. Now, for me personally, completing Kappa, doing all the missions in the entire game, and getting my hideout completely maxed is all done with 0 handouts or assistance from the community. Not a single ruble, not a single item. And that's the way I've always done it, and it's how I stay interested and focused after the wipe happens. If I was to get help consistently and cheese my way to the top, I feel like it would devalue my accomplishments and would also burn through the game too fast without having objectives to complete. And that's just my personal take, and I know people do it differently, and that's completely okay, but it's the way I've always done it, and it's the way I will continue to do it. And because I'm doing this myself, it's going to take me a little bit longer than some other players to reach level 40 and to reach Kappa, because I have to do every single thing on my own, every ruble, every quest, every mission, every headshot. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I will probably get most of this complete within 6 to 7 weeks after the wipe. If I do it faster than that, it's actually going to be awesome. But the Killa quest, some of the soft skills might take a little bit of time, but either way, I'm excited to go after it. Well guys, I hope you enjoy the brand new Escape for Tarkov Wipe. I am super excited to get back to it and play Tarkov at its absolute best, and I hope you are as well. I'm going to be streaming a lot. I'm going to be doing like 10, 12 plus hour broadcasts on Thursday, Friday, a regular stream on Saturday, probably a long stream on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday will be a regular stream next week, and Thursday and Friday will most likely be longer, doing some wipe stuff before resuming to a normal schedule in about a week and a half. So the best way to stay informed is just follow me on Twitter for scheduling updates and when I'm going to be live, or simply checking out my live stream at twitch.tv/DeadlySlob. A link to that will be included in the description box below, and I'll see you guys in the game.